Hi, welcome to Financial Reporting and Analysis for the spring semester 2015 at UTS. My name is Robert Trankowski and I'm the lecturer in charge of this unit. Also in the team are Dr. Stephen Lim and Dr. Helen Spiropoulos. Those contact details are available on UTS Online and in the subject outline. Now, this subject introduces you at a more advanced level to some particular accounting issues. We're going to look at revenue recognition, construction contracts. We're going to talk about more advanced issues in assets, such as impairment, revaluation of property, plant, and equipment, how we apply those concepts in intangible assets, how we deal with mining exploration costs, and how we look at agricultural issues. We're also going to look at liabilities, so accounting for provisions, what's the difference between provisions and contingent liabilities, how do we account for liabilities such as debentures and employee benefits. In the latter half of the course, we're going to look at some more specific issues that are more advanced and slightly more complicated. So foreign currency, financial instruments, leases, tax, and sustainability. I should point out that the sustainability is not covered in a particular week in class, but is provided as an online learning module on UTS Online. So we'll tell you more about that as the semester progresses. Now, the assessment structure of the subject, 3 components. There's a mid-semester exam, a group case study, and a final exam. A few more words about the group case study in a few moments. The mid-semester exam is going to be entirely multiple choice questions on topics 1 to 6. This is a change from the way we've done this in prior semesters. What we're trying to do by doing multiple choice questions is getting you quick turnaround so you can get quick feedback as to how you're tracking in understanding the material for the subject. Don't worry if you don't do too well in the mid-sem. It's only worth 20% and it's there, well, to assess how you're going, but also to flag areas that might need some attention for you. The final exam, therefore, will cover all topics from the entire semester. Okay, the textbooks. There's really only one textbook you need, and that's Australian Financial Accounting by Deegan, 7th edition, 2014. You can buy the condensed version, which is also available. The condensed version was put together specially for us, and it includes only those chapters that we use in this course. What this basically means is you can get a book that's cheaper. Unfortunately, it's not very much smaller because they use thicker paper, but it's cheaper and it gives you just what you need. The Financial Reporting Handbook contains all accounting standards that are relevant for this subject. However, you don't need to buy it. We don't let you take the handbook into the exam, and all of the standards are available on the web on the AASB website, the Australian Accounting Standards Board. So if you feel like spending some money, go ahead and buy the Financial Reporting Handbook, but don't feel that it is necessary. Now let's talk a little bit about the structure of your learning in this subject. What we do for each topic is we expect you to do some readings in preparation. And then having done those readings, the material that you've prepared for will be covered in class in the main part of the class that week. That then feeds into tutorial or self-study problems that you will do after class to reinforce your understanding of the material before we come back, and in the first hour of the class next week, we do an in-class problem to bed down your learning. So that's essentially how we're going to go through each of the topics. Now, the structure of the subject does look, as you've seen, at a number of particular accounting topics. However, week 1 is important. Week 1 sets the scene. Week 1 tells you that what we're going to be doing in this subject is not just looking at accounting issues. We're going to be looking at the context of those accounting issues. So what are managerial incentives? Why do managers make certain decisions when they have accounting choices? This will help us understand why we have accounting rules that are sometimes a bit inconsistent. Managers have motivations to do certain things. So you need to understand managerial incentives, as well as the technical aspects of each of these topics. So once we build up those skills as we go through semester, those skills will be brought together in the group case study, where you look at a company and you look at the accounting choices, the significant accounting choices your company has, and what might be driving those choices, what incentives or motivations might be driving those choices. Okay, so that's basically what you're going to be doing in the subject. What do we provide for you? Well, of course, there are the classes. We have staff consultation hours, as everybody else does, so you can come and talk to me, Helen, or Stephen during our consultation hours. They're advised on UTS Online. We also have drop-in sessions. The drop-in sessions for the first few weeks cover a bunch of key topics like writing theory answers, reading accounting standards, basic debits and credits in the first one for those who aren't up to speed on that. So that's the first few weeks when we're going to have 2 drop-in sessions each week. After those are out of the way, we're going to have 1 drop-in session each week. It basically means that I, Robert, sit in a room for an hour and you come and talk to me about problems that you have. So there might be a bunch of people there, sometimes there might just be one person there. It's an alternative to the staff consultation hours. Now, a lot of the other resources that we have are on UTS Online. So let me go across to UTS Online and show you what we have here. Now, this is the financial reporting and analysis site on UTS Online. Of course, you see the announcements are still there from last semester with a few videos. I'll get rid of that soon. That will be clear by the time you start. Subject information. If you go to subject information, what you've got there is the course outline, the subject outline. So you don't have to wait until you get into week 1 for the subject outline in print form. You can download it and have a look at it now. And that includes the readings and all the things we expect you to cover. Okay, so this is what a subject outline looks like. Let me just make that a bit smaller. All those details about who we are, what topics we're covering. The first bit is the official formal UTS outline. In the second part, we've got the FRA specific stuff. So what readings we expect you to do in each week. So generally the readings will be from the Deegan textbook. However, in preparation for week 1, we expect you to read the Whitred, Zimmer, Taylor and Wells chapter, and that is available on UTS Online. After the coverage and the key dates, we've got a list of where the classes are. I'm not sure if those rooms are up to date. I'm going to have to check that. And we've got a list of all the problems. So for each week, there's a bunch of problems you need to do. So topic 1 problems, you need to do them for week 2. These are the problems we'll be looking at. And then in class, we're going to be looking at these questions, the questions listed here. Okay, so there'll be nothing in week 2, but in week 3, we're going to start doing some in-class problems. And towards the end, by the way, when you do look at the problems, even though some of them are straight from the textbook, be careful. Sometimes the textbook makes a mistake. So always make sure that you read the notes that we put in to adjust the problem if necessary. Okay, and towards the end, there's some information about the case study. But you'll get more information about that once we get into class. Okay, so the subject documents, when you look at this section on UTS Online, here we've got the lecture slides. Okay, so at the moment, the week 1 ones are up there. We've prepared them 1 per page, 3 per page, or 6 per page. Download which ones you want. What I've done is I've set up the dates so they release each week. So after a few days, the week 2 stuff will turn up. And look, for week 2, we've got lecture slides. We've also got a practical demo we're going to be going through in class. So make sure you download 1 set of the slides and always get the practical demo. Okay, so they're the lecture slides. In addition to the lecture slides, we will be recording 1 lecture each week. That's probably going to be one of the lectures that I take. And of course, there are none there at the moment. If the lecture recording equipment dies on us, then we'll bring back a lecture recording from a previous semester. Okay, so that's lecture materials, slides, lecture recordings. Here's the Whitred, Zimmer, Taylor and Wells reading that you need for the first week. We've also got some videos and screencasts. So these videos are done by me and by Dave Bond, who also teaches here at UTS, that talk about particular accounting issues in a little bit more detail. Generally, these tend to be practical videos. So if you've got a question about any of the technical material, so have a look. Oh, I better stop that.
What we're going to do today is...
Well, that was me talking about something. So have a look at the video to see whether it addresses questions you might have. We've also got some screencasts. These were done using a different technology. They're sort of videos as well. They were done a few years ago, but we've deleted any that are no longer relevant or no longer correct. So again, here are some calculations, some things that take you through technical materials. We don't do cash flows anymore, so you won't need to look at that, but we've left that up there anyway. Okay, so they're materials that are available for you on UTS Online. The other thing I need to point out is there's a discussion board. So on the discussion board, you have the opportunity to ask questions and answer each other's questions if you want about particular accounting topics, about particular topics from the subject. Okay, we will check those and answer questions on a regular basis there as well. Don't worry, don't feel embarrassed about asking questions. If you're asking the question, somebody else probably would like to ask it too. So no need to feel embarrassed. If you've got a question, this is usually the quickest way of getting a response. Okay, so we've got class recordings, we've got announcements. Now, every time I make an announcement on UTS Online, you're going to get an email. I always tick the box that says send an email to the students. And I'm generally going to be making an announcement at least once a week to touch base with you about where you should be up to at that time. Okay, so we've talked about the facilities that are there to aid your learning. So in summary, we've got the seminars or the classes where you get introduced to the topic after you've done the reading and before you bed down that information with the tutorial self-study problems. We've got UTS Online that's got the subject material. It's got announcements that will go out regularly if there's a particular accounting or subject-related issue that I want to talk to you about. And just to make sure that you're doing okay in the subject and give you an idea of where you should be up to. The drop-ins I've already talked about as the discussion board. If you send us an email, please do not send us an email asking a particular accounting topic. That stuff should be addressed either in class or on UTS Online. Email should just be for personal issues regarding your enrollment, your group, your case study group, stuff like that. And when you do email us, please always include the subject code 22748 in the email subject line. This is important because if we don't see that, we might not get to your email quickly. And in fact, sometimes we will have those emails classified as spam and we'll only see them in January of next year, by which time it's too late. So it is important that you include 22748 every time you email us. Okay, I've already talked about the videos and the screencasts. Now, some websites that might be useful for you. AASB.gov.au is the Australian Accounting Standards Board, and that has the full text of all accounting standards, of all accounting rules that we look at in this subject. So that's why you don't need to buy the handbook. CPA Australia also has some fact sheets on every accounting standards. Now, if you're doing some research about a company, and you will be doing that in relation to your case study, then probably one of the first places you might wish to look is either the company's website or the Data Analysis Premium database, which is hosted by the UTS Library, or which you access through the UTS Library. That will give you the financial reports for the company, any recent announcements, information about what's going on in that company. Okay, well, it's a pleasure to welcome you once more to Financial Reporting and Analysis. I hope you enjoyed the semester. If you have any questions, you know how to get in touch with us. Good luck.